Hi, it's Sylvester, and a while back I spoke about how I got an MRI and I got the results of said MRI, and it turns out that there are two things that were noteworthy about my brain, two things that are kind of weird with my brain, and the first thing is called an empty cella. Now, this means, and just by the way, I am not a medical professional. Everything I'm saying I got from my doctor and from Google, so I could get something wrong. But as far as I understand it, an empty cella means that your pituitary gland has shrunk or become flattened. So my pituitary gland is flattened or shrunk, and this could cause problems. And if it does cause problems, if it causes symptoms, then it's called empty cella syndrome. But I apparently do not have the syndrome. I just have an empty cella because I don't seem to have any symptoms. I got some very expensive blood work done, and it turns out that there's nothing wrong with my hormone levels. And so, yeah, I have an empty cella, but it doesn't seem to be causing me any issues, which is great. The other thing that was wrong with my brain, or maybe I shouldn't say wrong with, because I feel like that has negative connotations, and like it's not necessarily that there's anything wrong with my brain, it's just something that was noteworthy. The other thing that was different about my brain is that I have this thing, and when my doctor said it to me, it just went right over my head because it's a series of words that I didn't really understand except for the first word, but it's called a persistent cavum septum pellucidum. And that sounds like a bad Harry Potter spell, but a persistent cavum septum pellucidum, as far as I understand, is a structure in the brain that usually goes away when you hit adulthood, but in 15% of the population, it doesn't go away. And I am part of that 15%. So it is not extremely rare or anything like that, and as far as I'm aware, it's not anything to really be worried about. There are some studies that say that a persistent cavum septum pellucidum is loosely associated with schizophrenia, post-traumatic stress disorder, traumatic brain injury, as well as antisocial personality disorder. But according to my doctor, there's not a ton of evidence linking these things together. And like I said, 15% of the population has this thing with their brain. And obviously, not all of these people struggle with schizophrenia, post-traumatic stress disorder, traumatic brain injury, or antisocial personality disorder. So just because there's an association, there's a link there, doesn't necessarily mean that one causes the other. You know what I mean? So correlation doesn't mean causation, as they say, or whatever, something like that. I don't know. I'm having a hard time talking today. Can you tell? I'm filming a video because I just felt like updating y'all on this, but I am not feeling real good about this video because, yeah, I'm having a hard time talking today. Anyways, that's pretty much all I had to say. I have an empty cella, and I have a persistent cavum septum pellucidum, and that is all they found that was different about my brain. So my brain otherwise seems good and healthy. I do not have empty cella syndrome because I am not showing any symptoms, so everything seems to be good. The persistent cavum septum pellucidum might be connected to the psychosis I experienced, perhaps in some way, but there's not a lot of strong evidence to show correlation there, and it also might perhaps have something to do with my post-traumatic stress disorder. I'm not really sure if post-traumatic stress disorder causes a cavum septum pellucidum, or if having a persistent cavum septum pellucidum causes or can make PTSD worse. Like, I'm not really sure what the correlation is there. The way I understand it is that having PTSD might cause you to develop a persistent cavum septum pellucidum, but I'm not entirely sure if that's the case. So if you are a doctor watching this, feel free to correct me in the comments, but maybe my PTSD caused it. Who knows? Anyways, that's pretty much all. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Stay frosty. Bye.